Hi, I'm Sam.
And I'm Max.
And this is Movies Actually. And this time, we're going to cover a movie that was covered somewhat briefly in a recent episode of What I Just Unread. Tell us about it, Max.
Yeah, and the film that we're going to be looking at today is the 2013 adaptation of Filth by Irvine Welsh. This was directed by John S. Bird and stars James McAvoy, Eddie Marsan. I was going to say Nigel Davenport. It's not Nigel Davenport.
No, it's not. I would be interested to see him in that movie.
It would be, yeah. No, Jim Broadbent, Imogen Poots, and I think it's... I've forgotten her name. It's the mother from The Witch. You know who you are. And also featuring an early appearance from... And his name is Ian something, isn't it?
Mm.
Yes, him.
Ian K. Sticker?
Something like that.
Yeah.
From you know him from The Fades. I know him really from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But yes, this is the film that we're going to be looking at today. It's a bit of a change, as if you've been watching maybe movies, you'll know that things ended rather abruptly on Wednesday.
Somewhat abruptly, yes.
So
yes.
We're dropping this in place of our usual televisual presentation. And also, just gives us a chance to do something a bit different with the show as well. I covered this recently on What I Just Unread as part of my list. It's been on my list for a while. And I think this has kind of partly come out because I was going to say a couple of things about the film in my review of the book and then didn't get a chance to, or it just slipped my mind. So we're going to give it the full Movies Actually treatment now.
Yeah, the full Monty. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so as I said, I watched this. I bought this at the same time as I bought the book, and obviously left this until I'd finished the book, and then watched it. I've got a sneaky feeling that my first impression when I watched it after reading the book was not too dissimilar to your first impression, having just watched it now.
I'll take it. I'll trust you on that, but I would say probably.
Mm-hmm.
Probably. We both read the same book after all.
Mm-hmm. And we've both seen the same film that is not the same book. It's not the same story.
It's not. It's not. I mean, the essential speed bumps are there.
Mm-hmm.
But the central core has been surgically removed. Maybe we should start at the beginning. Let's give a brief, what's it about?
Of course, yes.
So it's Bruce Robinson, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, it's the tale of Bruce Robinson, an Edinburgh policeman who is charming, charismatic, and would seem to be on the up and up in the local police department. And we follow him on his day-to-day as he goes about proving just what the title of the film means.
Absolutely. It's a difficult one to do, really, because the book itself is entirely his internal monologue.
Yes, it apart from a couple of opposite sections that we'll get to in a moment,
mm-hmm.
the book is entirely inside Robinson's head, and you are forced to live with him through every grueling second of it.
Yeah. And it's interesting because in an interview, Irvine Welsh has said that he was always really looking forward to seeing this one dramatised.
Well, when I heard that they'd made a film of it, I was like, this is one of those ones that you almost can't make that movie. You have to be somewhere out on the lunatic avant-garde fringes to be able to make that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't make that movie.
No,
they did not make that movie.
In terms of basic stuff, there's some changes that were made for production purposes. So the film had a lot of funding and had a lot of input from a German producer, hence why they moved the holiday scenes from Amsterdam to Hamburg.
I thought it was Amsterdam in the book.
Yes,
yeah.
no, it's most definitely Amsterdam in the book.
Bear in mind that I haven't actually read the book for about 15 years now. I only read it once, just the once, that's all you need.
Yes, same. Again, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say, if you do want to see the review that I did, check the link below, above or in the description below, just so you can see the comparison between the two. While we were watching this, you kind of said it quite rightly, it's a very watered-down, saccharine version of the story.
It's very sanitised.
That's the word you used.
Very sanitised. Which, I mean, considering the title, and therefore, if you can follow us in the book, the title follows the theme and the essence of the story. It is filth. And so much of that is removed for the film.
Yeah, and even some of the things, some of the more subtextual stuff as well. I mean, the fact that they've removed one of the key players from the book, namely the tapeworm.
Yes.
And tried to kind of anthropomorphise it in a form of Jim Broadbent's character in his head.
Yeah, what was that? A daydream? A hallucination? I'm not quite sure what it was at the end of the day.
I think he's supposed to be, it's just supposed to be like some kind of hallucination that he's having.
Yeah, they made very, very nominal nods to the subject material. There are a couple of pictures of tapeworms in the background of the doctor's office. But in the book, the secondary character of the story is the tapeworm that lives in the detective's gut. Mm-hmm. And it's just gone.
Yeah.
Just gone from the narrative. Even the scenes that nod to it aren't actually tapeworm scenes. They're not part of that narrative at all. They're just an excuse to look inside his brain, I suppose.
Exactly. I said, but the only one of those that I didn't mind is the one that's more confrontational.
Yes, the second or third one towards the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the only one that kind of worked, because it's something that the book never does, because you always get the feeling that the tapeworm is still talking to you, the reader. Whereas here they allowed the two to speak to each other. That was about the one thing that I thought was quite interesting that they did.
No, I do. If I remember rightly, isn't there just a very brief moment in the book when it almost seems like Bruce becomes aware of the tapeworm's monologue? It gets very briefly interrupted by Bruce's thoughts, and then it carries on as if nothing happened.
Yes, I think there is.
Yeah,
yes.
So there's just that slightest hint that there's that possible, he can almost hear the tapeworm suggestion in there.
In the book, he very clearly has problems with a rash problem that he's got. It's just missing.
Yep. It's all gone with the rash. If you'll excuse me, but just to put it bluntly, half shitting himself to death every time he eats food, which is a large subject in the book, it's not even touched on at all.
No. And also the fact that his home, he's... As I said, the book, you see it get gradually worse and worse and worse through the course of the story. That his home management is for shit. That's not in here at all, apart from somebody saying, "Woof, it whiffs a bit in here."
Yeah, and that's like,
And that, again, is 2/3 of the way through the film. It's a shame. It is a shame because, I was kind of interested to see how they're going to take this. I was worried that... And I suppose there is an element of it that they were going to try and give it the Trainspotting treatment, if you know what I mean.
I would have preferred that. Trainspotting was more honest in its approach to the material.
Yeah, no, true.
Just in case you weren't aware, I wasn't terribly impressed with this movie. It works well as a movie, but as an adaptation of the book, it fails pretty miserably.
Yeah, agreed. Absolutely agreed. Which is a shame, as I said, because, it's brilliant cast.
Yeah.
Very well performed. You can't take that away from
there's
anybody.
Some really candid performances there, considering the subject material.
Yeah.
There's... it's good stuff.
Way off the mark, unfortunately, for me. It does, from watching the interviews, and so watching the interview with Van Marsh, it does kind of answer one of the questions that we raised in the Watched and Read episode, which was obviously who was this for, what was it about? And he does kind of go on in that to say that there's a number of things, again, it's quite layered. At his base level, he was trying to put the kind of the liberalness that was been taken over the past 30 years with people's beliefs, and try and put that under a microscope. And saying, well, if you can believe whatever you want about yourself, about other people. So this is this character with these beliefs.
Oh, I see. Okay.
That's part of it. There's something that I think I did mention. I wasn't too far wrong. He'd been writing so much about people who were non-conformists. So he wanted to write a bit about a conformist instead.
Well, I see.
And also he was intrigued by this idea of doing a story about the person whose job it is to catch the people that he normally writes about in his other books.
Well, you see, that's one of the things. One of the things that I noticed about reading the book, apart from everything that you meant to take away from the story, but like Bruce as a character, he reminded me so much of Francis Begbie. He's like the flip side of the Francis Begbie coin. He's that mentality flipped to the other side of the law.
So because that makes me...
that brutalist, survivalist mentality.
So for some reason, as soon as you said that, the image I got in my head is the two droogs from...
Clockwork Orange?
Yes.
The ones that become coppers.
The two that become coppers.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah.
Interesting. That's really... Because I think we mentioned that before. There's like a not a similarity, but there's a connection there between those two stories.
It was my one takeaway when I read the book. Like, I was, as we said, I was struggling to try and figure out who it was written for. But the one thing I took away was like, there's this incredible similarity. It's like you flip it over to the other side and see what happens.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I took away from it, that there's very strong similarities to those personality types between Begbie and Robinson.
So, yeah, ultimately... this is one of those rare ones I'm going to have to say it gets half a thumb.
It gets one thumb. Yeah, it's a movie, and it's a good movie for its own sake, but it's not a good adaptation.
No. Okay, so yeah, I'll say half a thumb for the film, half a thumb for the performances.
Yeah.
To make it up to one thumb.
Yeah.
It's only a two thumb.
It's a one thumber, and only just barely.
Yes. Again, I mean, obviously, you might enjoy it if you've got no intention of reading the book and you just want to have see the film. Then you might think more of it. But if you're a fan of his work and you've read the book, I'd be hard pressed to find anyone really who read the book who would like this.
If you haven't read the book, the ending loses so much meaning.
It does, and it also looks like they changed the ending.
A little bit.
The inference at the ending.
The inference and the ending. Yeah. So, sorry. I don't approve. I'm sorry, I can't approve of this film.
Same here. As I said at the start, this has been a little one that we've slotted in as an extra. We will be back on Tuesday, so do come back and check us out on Tuesday. I know it's not our normal day, but it's Halloween, so we have our Halloween movies actually about... I keep wanting to say The Slaughtered Lamb. It's a group I'm in on Facebook. It's The Slaughtered Lamb, but obviously the Slaughtered Lamb will be featured.
Indeed. I think that's good enough of a hint.
It is, isn't it? Yes. But again, thanks for joining us. Obviously, if you do like what we do here, please do all the usual. Please do like, share, subscribe. Leave us a comment. Tell us what you think. If you've seen this, let us know what you thought of it.
Yeah, so until next time, folks, you take care now. As always, TTFN.